Hey there, it's time for the show, the Tatiana Show, where you make friends and talk life and crypto. This episode of The Tatiana Show is brought to you by Vaultoro. Vaultoro is a gold hedging solution for the crypto community. One of the challenges of investing in cryptocurrencies is dealing with volatility. Keeping a diversified portfolio is a key to healthy returns. I keep about 10% of my crypto assets in gold using Vaultoro. Vaultoro allows me to open a gold wallet in seconds where I can easily trade with cryptos and gold. What I like about using Vaultoro instead of Tether is that the gold in my Vaultoro wallet is insured, audited, vaulted in Switzerland, and unlike fiat money, gold has increased in value for the last 20 years. Visit vaultoro.gold/Tatiana today and get zero trading fees for the first 3 months. That is vault, like a gold vault, and oro, which is Spanish for gold. Vaultoro, ole! Hey guys, have you heard about the Haven app from the guys over at Open Bazaar? Download Haven now for iOS and Android. Go to gethaven.app. Haven is the world's first privacy-focused shopping application for iOS and Android devices. Why use apps that spy on you? Shop, chat, and send cryptocurrencies privately using Haven. Haven gives you a shopping marketplace, social posts, private chat, and a powerful cryptocurrency multi-wallet all in one mobile app. Download Haven now for iOS and Android. Go to gethaven.app/Tatiana for $5 off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of The Tatiana Show. Today, we're going to be combining two different guests. And we're going to be combining Thomas from Mad Bitcoins, and then we're also going to be talking to Vesa, an amazing crypto artist. So thanks everybody for taking a listen to this Tatiana Show. I'm joined right now with Thomas Hunt, also known as Mad Bitcoins, from the World Crypto Network. Hey, Thomas, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I am joyous, for we shall reunite soon. In just a couple weeks on November 3rd at Bitbrum, which is in Birmingham up in England. So
That's
like 2
right.
hours north of London.
It's going to be great. It's a great conference, a fun area, and hope everybody can join us there.
Well, I met one of the main organizers when I was at the Baltic Honey Badger, which in itself was a really cool conference up in Riga in Latvia, Joe. And I put out an episode of the Tatiana Show with him and Anna, who just did a conference in Estonia, which also has an interesting crypto community. But Joe was telling me about what was going on in Birmingham and that you guys had known each other for a long time and that you're going to be the MC. So it's a little bit of a off the beaten path kind of place. And you've been traveling around. But what do you think is going to make Birmingham special, do you think, versus some of the other places? Because you've been there before, right?
Yeah, I've been there before. It's in the middle of England, I suppose, maybe the northern part. But yeah, it's definitely off the beaten path, but it's all about the people. There'll be some really nice people in Birmingham. A lot of the people in London are more finance oriented, and I went to a meetup in London a while ago, and it was all just money, 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 and they wanted the tokens and the stable coins and the altcoins, and they didn't really have that Bitcoin spirit. So I think it's going to be a great conference, and yeah, Joe's great. He's a great organizer, and I hope everybody is going to join us there. It's going to be good fun. I'm going to MC as Mad Bitcoins, and it's really fun. I do lots of quotes and little speeches and poems and things when I MC. So I think it really adds to the show, and hopefully it's going to be live streamed. We might try to set up the microphones and do a interview session on the side. Maybe I think Max Hillebrand is going to join us. I know Ben from Wales is coming down, BTC Socialist. He does all this work with little lightning devices. He's going to bring all his little lightning devices, just like here at the Lightning Conference in Berlin. And Ben's got all kinds of little you can just hands-on stuff where it shows the little QR code on a e-ink screen, and you can scan it and pay, and something will happen. They had some fun stuff here in Berlin where you would send it lightning like 10 Satoshis, and the little frog would blow bubbles, or the little picture would come out of the machine. It would print out your picture. All kinds of little devices that you can build with the Lightning Network.
Is this a maximalist conference, would you say, or no? Or does it
I don't
not take a
know.
position on that either way?
Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing as a maximalist conference, but I mean, it is more of a Bitcoin conference. But it's really hard to do that. You always have to kind of include maybe a sponsor that you wouldn't have, or maybe a speech or two you wouldn't have. So, but I think it's important to have those ideas and to include the other communities. We were talking recently on Twitter on different terms for this Bitcoin maximalist. One of the ones I liked was Bitcoin obvious, that it's just obvious that Bitcoin's going to be the one, or maybe a Bitcoin realist or a Bitcoin
No, I don't
logicalist
know.
or
I think all the
something.
labels are killing us. Maybe we shouldn't just
Well,
have the labels. That's
you,
that's what I'm thinking.
you
I
can't
don't
let
know.
your
What about
opponents,
a
you can't let
competition
your
maximalist? Josh likes
okay,
that one. I like that. Competition
survivalist.
maximalist. What do you think?
Yeah,
No,
I think you could be a survivalist. Maybe
no,
Bitcoin
not a
survives.
survivalist. No, you don't have to survive. It has to thrive. It has to be the best one, the champion, if you will.
Thriving is just sometimes. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think we should let Vitalik or other people label us, and that's where the maximalist label came from. And it's kind of a negative thing where they're saying that you're not interested in other things, and I'm interested in other things. I just think Bitcoin is the one, and everything is going to combine together into Bitcoin. These other really good ideas in the open source community can be added to Bitcoin. We can improve the software that we have.
Well, I'm going on the record that I don't know. I'm not choosing a horse. I really like Bitcoin a lot. That's my original home team. So, obviously that's cool. But I don't know. I like a lot of different kinds of projects. I think that people should be doing all sorts of experiments. And I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to come to the UK. I'll be flying and hanging in there with you guys for the weekend. So that'll be cool. But you've been in Europe for quite a while now, right? Tell me what you've been up to in
I've
your
been over
wonderful
here
world.
about 3 weeks this time, so not that much. And I started out in London, and I did a little tourism there. Went to the British Museum again, and then I went to it's getting confusing, but then I went to Prague for HCPP, the Hackers Congress, and that's a great conference. That was our third year there, doing the live streaming of interviews on the World Crypto Network, and it was pretty fun. There's a lot of people there where I've interviewed them now for 3 years in a row. So we have these kind of neat playlists I can go back and make of certain people who it's just they're always there and I'm always there, and it's really neat to have our conversations build over the years and to get to know these people through interviews. After that, we spent a couple days in Budapest, and then we moved on to Romania for the Transylvania Crypto Conference, and that was pretty cool. It was
Did you
only
meet
there.
any vampires?
Didn't meet
I'm
any
sorry, I have to
vampires.
ask. It's very important.
I was on the lookout
Inquiring
for
minds
them.
want to
They
know.
we went to a salt mine, which was really strange and very large underground mine, and it wasn't at all like crawl on your hands and knees or anything like that because I'm not doing that. But it was nice, and they had like a Ferris wheel down there and pool tables and ping pong and all these children's recreational type things in the salt mine. So that was an interesting thing. We didn't get to go to Dracula's castle. All the tour guide was kind of downplaying it. He said Vlad the Impaler only rode his horse by that castle. He didn't even live there. But apparently that's the tourist trap of Dracula's castle. I was looking out for vampires, doing lots of Count from Sesame Street humor, ah, 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 ah. But I didn't find any.
I'm a really big fan of the Count. He was definitely one of my favorite characters on there. And I'm sure that to those people that the whole Dracula and vampire thing gets old, but I don't know. I still think it's kind of interesting. There's a salt mine outside of Krakow that I saw, and they have interesting things. So it's sort of like a sauna, and then they have
That sounds
a
good.
chapel. But I like ping pong. I feel like that's interesting that one place chose to make it into a place where you can do recreational sports. But what I found was interesting was you can't light a match down there, I guess, because it's flammable. You're not supposed to do that.
Huh.
Did you know
That's
that? I
fun.
mean, I feel like that's something they should really drill home to people. just in
Yeah,
case.
no, they never mentioned that, and never came up. But they also wouldn't let us eat or drink down there. So there was no food and there was no bar. So I don't know how fun it would be to go down there and maybe have your birthday party. And they had a little bowling alley. They had ping pong, pool tables, all these kind of things. And I think it's just a really interesting salt mine because I think they finished it in about the 50s. And by the time they finished it and it was operational, I'm pretty sure they didn't need to use it anymore and they could just get salt from somewhere else. So they were kind of stuck with this incredible thing that they built. And recently the government rolled in and they spent like $6 million to turn it into a tourist attraction. And that's what it's been ever since. And
That's a
yeah, it
good
was really
investment, though.
nice.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
they have that. I mean, that seems like an interesting thing to visit. I love the salt mines outside of Krakow. So yeah, if I ever go there, I'm gonna make a trip out there.
Yeah, that'd
What
be
are the
cool.
balls made out of? Like if it's a salt, you know, like bowling alley, is it, regular bowling balls and then the lanes are made out of salt, or how does that work?
Oh no, it's just regular bowling lanes. It looked like they brought them in or manufactured them down there. There was just a couple of small alleys, and pretty much there wasn't any kind of. I've heard of
Oh, they're
other
not
salt
all made
mines.
out of salt?
No, I've heard of like you're saying these other salt mines. I think Ryan was telling me about one where it was all religious under there, and they built a shrine and all this kind of stuff. No, this was just like a big giant room with a 8-story elevator, and we just went down in the big giant room, and it was just like a cavern. And there was salt on the walls, and there's like stalactites and all these kind of like weird sprays of salt. But it was just normal stuff. It was just a Ferris wheel and just some lights and stuff, and it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't really a decorative thing. So.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So how were the conferences? What did you see along your travels?
Well, we did lots of interviews and lots of emceeing, and met some cool people. So that was good. And every once in a while, you meet somebody that's smart that has good things to say. So you want to remember them. And then I just went to the Lightning Conference in Berlin the last 2 days, and that was a really cool conference. It was the first Lightning Conference, and everybody was really positive and excited to get working on this new network. And they have all kinds of new things that they're doing. It's really very early in Lightning, so a lot of things are happening. Like we talked to this girl Lisa from Blockstream, and she's a programmer there, and she talked about how they do the initial handshake communication to create the new payment channel for Lightning, and that right now there's no way for one party to just put some money in it for the other party, but they can change that because it's still software and it's really early. So they're going to change it so that if you were maybe talking to a store and the store wants to give you a payment channel so you can start sending money back and forth, the store could just start your account off. They could put like $1 in there, and then your account would be funded and you can create the payment channel. And then once it's created, you can put more money in there, and then you could send it and use it and all these kind of things. So all the little stumbling blocks that people are worried about, like the invoices and the fees and all these kind of things, they're going to solve it with software. And it was really exciting to meet all these people who are working on it. And also, you could tell that they were very excited to meet all of their other people as well, because a lot of these people only communicate on the internet. And some of them are even working together on open source projects or hardware projects. And to get everyone together in one place was really exciting.
Wow, awesome. So are you ever going to come back stateside, or are you just going to terrorize Europe this whole time? Or
Well, I'm running out of
terrorize
days
might be a
in
strong
the.
word.
I've been doing my best, but no, I'm running out of days in the Schengen zone, which is the shared travel zone that the EU uses. You get to have 90 days, which is like 3 months in the last 6. So I've got to get out of here for a while. That's why I'm going to the UK soon, and they have a different travel system. And after the Bitbrum conference, I'm probably going to head down to London again and get an airplane out of there and go home to Vegas for Thanksgiving. So, and take it easy over the winter holidays and try to let my time in Europe regrow so I can go back to the travel zone and that. Thanks.
Yeah, I always love my time in Europe for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Anything else that you want to kind of tell people about? Anything that you've been working on, or any trends that you've noticed that you want to talk about?
Well, whenever Mad Bitcoins travels, the price of Bitcoin seems to go up. Getting on an airplane tomorrow, and we're up about 3.5% today. So that's pretty good. I don't know about the prices and the charts and all that nonsense. I think Bitcoin's cool, and we'll see what happens. But really excited about Bitbrum. If anyone's in the United Kingdom area, you should come on down to Birmingham. I'm going to get a flight over from Dublin. I'm going to do a little bit more tourism. I'm going to Scotland and Ireland, and I've never been, so I'm super excited to go to those places. A lot of my favorite authors are from there, like Robert Louis Stevenson and James Joyce and Oscar Wilde. So I'm going to go check out their houses and go to some castles and go to some museums and see some more chess pieces and these kind of things. So really excited to do that. And I always share my photos on @MadBitcoins on Twitter. So if you want to check those out, it's cool. And yeah, just really looking forward to Bitbrum in Birmingham. And I hope to see everybody there. It's going to be a good one.
Me too. Thanks so much, Thomas, for stopping by. And everyone, if you want to get your tickets, go to bitbrum.org. That's bitbrum.org. It's about, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours from London. So if you want to take the weekend and go up there, it's on a Sunday. So you can even turn it into a day trip. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening to The Tatiana Show. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.
This episode of The Tatiana Show has been brought to you by eToro.com. You can trade in a wide range of assets, connect with the crypto community, and automatically copy top performing portfolios at eToro.com. Quite simply, they have the top currencies, smart tools, low fees, social trading, all in one simple app. They facilitate over $1 trillion in trading volume per year globally. eToro makes powerful trading tools easy. Get started in minutes right now at eToro.com. That's ETORO.com. This segment, we're going to be talking with Vesa. So Vesa, thank you so much for joining the Tatiana Show today.
Thanks very much, Tatiana. Always a pleasure to be with you and hanging out with you. And shame we can't do this in Vegas now, but good that we get to at least have a catch up here on your lovely podcast.
Absolutely. So for people who haven't heard you on previous episodes, if you could give me a little bit of a background on how you got involved in crypto art and what your experience in art has been up till now.
Well, I've pretty much jumped out of the traditional art world altogether. I started as a filmmaker. I had a production company for about a decade. Before the decade, I hopped into contemporary art, and at the time when I jumped into contemporary art, I also was producing a film about the monetary system in Finland. So in one way, I have been in crypto for about a decade already, without being, of course, into Bitcoin and stuff. But a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, maybe, I went for a coffee with a friend of mine who came out of the crypto investor closet, and he just sort of said that this is what I do now, and he knows that I was into the whole monetary system and its evolution and things like that. So he recommended that I get to check it out, because that he was online for 4 days trying to find quality art, and with his standards, he couldn't find something that he wanted. So he said that maybe I could make something, and that might be an angle that I might enjoy anyway. And I just went down the rabbit hole, 4 months of no sleep and red eyes, and I was kind of begging for it to stop at some point, because I got so fascinated and so obsessed for a bit. And it just birthed this platform called artforcrypto.com, which is attempting to tell the story of crypto as it unfolds in front of us. And it's almost like being a war photographer of sorts, or trying to bring in visual terms something that is just bubbling underneath the surface to the surface, so that for those of us who are on the inside, we get like these investment rare collectibles, of course, and then their conversation piece for those who might have only heard about Bitcoin and the crypto world in passing. So it's an education as well.
Yeah. How many pieces have you made so far?
I think it's about around 30 pieces or something like that, but it soon expanded beyond it, because I just signed a contract that I'll start to write for the Gokhshtein magazine about creativity and merging of tech. And I've already written for News BTC for a couple of years, and now I do these stage performances and keynotes about this whole thing. So it's expanded way beyond just making some art pieces. It's this whole world view that I'm sort of engrossed in now, and I couldn't enjoy it more. It makes much more sense than the art world to me, which I just never, I felt like a round thing in a square hole type of thing, trying to accomplish things in the art world, and crypto is very much like home for me now.
Sure. So what do you have planned exactly in Vegas? I know you have something planned for the Litecoin Summit. How did you get involved with Litecoin?
Well, I was introduced by Adam Williams from World CryptoCon, because we made possibly my biggest show up until now was with World CryptoCon last year, and we built this big art wall, and I did a performance on the main stage as well as a 30-minute keynote about the whole thing, and it kicked it off, and it was just a superb experience. And they then introduced me to David Schwartz from the Litecoin Foundation, and we kicked the collaboration together that I'll do the same kind of thing, which is first I made this art piece called Invisibility about the past, present, and future of money, and that is basically going for the Litecoin Foundation now. And then I'll be talking about that with my keynote, as well as a whole new keynote that I've put together, as well as a performance with Crypto Finally, and that is at the start of it all. And they kindly provided with my own room where I can have all the art there and set up a mini studio, because we also agreed, because I've gotten to know Didi Taihutu a little bit, the Bitcoin family guy, and he graciously agreed to be body painted as Atlas with this Bitcoin type of theme. So he's deep diving into uncomfortable territory, as well as myself, to see what comes out of this. But it's there's a lot of things that will happen at the Litecoin Summit first, and then we're going to do a repeat of that and some other things at World CryptoCon again. So very excited to go over, and Vegas is a bunch of fun. So
would it be fair to say that that's sort of the culmination for the year, or do you have any other things on the horizon that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, it's very much the culmination of the year. What was surprising was the CC forum which just happened a week back, which resulted into some very interesting things, because there's a sort of infight in one of my art pieces. A lot of these crypto celebrities have now signed it. And this time, Craig Wright signed one of my art pieces for charity. That is a story in and of itself. But he also bid and won at this gala charity dinner of one of my other art pieces, which ended up being quite a shit show, because he bid with his middle finger. And the guy who was taking the auction biddings, the guy called James Bowalter, who's the resident crypto insider here in London at the City AM magazine, he didn't take it too kindly. There was the whole conference was just so, because the people were pitted against one another in these debates, and it was I was howling, laughing, and at the edge of my seats at times. So that was fun, but now very much looking forward to everything that is going to be going on in Vegas. And one of the very
do you think that you should be affiliating with Craig Wright? I mean, he's hated by many people. He causes a lot of problems. Are you okay with him? I mean, is this like an endorsement by allowing him to be involved in your art?
It's by no means an endorsement, and I don't know enough about the whole BSV community or the contention. I haven't gotten into that at all. Basically, the other one, the art piece that he signed, is also signed by Vitalik Buterin and Andreas Antonopoulos and Roger Ver. There's Bobby Lee, Charlie Lee, Maxine Ryan. There's a whole bunch of Brock Pierce. There's all of these people are very controversial in one way or another, and the whole title of it is bad. It's the Michael Jackson logo, because it's for the Bad Crypto podcast, and for that particular art piece, it's radical inclusion of the major figures in this piece, that they can come in and support this charity that has been running for 40 years in Houston, called the Houston Women's Center, that fights against the violence towards women and girls. So it's a fantastic charity, and they started accepting crypto via the Litecoin Foundation lawyer, Blake Rizzo, who's also associated with the Tour de Crypto thing. So that has a principle of radical inclusion. So Craig Wright, I welcomed him to sign it, because earlier as well, Peter McCormack signed that very same piece by saying Peter McCormack, and with initials, he said Craig Wright is not Satoshi. So this was Craig Wright's response to that whole thing. But it's so much bigger, this art piece, than any of its parts, that was entirely an easy thing. And I can't really I don't have any say when someone bids at a gala for an art piece, so it's not an endorsement. He felt compelled to do so, and he wanted the art piece, and he supported a bunch of homeless people for the Freedom X charity through it. So I can't really fault him for that, but it's certainly not a thumbs up for, or thumbs down for BSV, because I simply don't know enough about it. But I know he's Marmite, and he certainly polarizes just about everyone in crypto. So
yes, well, it's certainly some good entertainment value. Are there any pieces coming up for next year that you're excited about doing? Are there any kind of evolutions in the space that are inspiring you? I know that you did some work with the Silk Road case, so there was the piece around that, but anything else that's coming up in your mind?
Well, yeah, actually, we agreed with Lynn again that the Free Ross piece, or the Silk Road piece, is going to be up in Vegas in her booth again. So we're going to continue our collaboration with Lynn to help out that charity. There's about 4 charities that I'm involved in at the moment, and I wish I had more time to actually do a bunch more creativity. There's many pieces that I've planned and I would like to do, but I've simply been too busy and trying to organize all a bunch of other things in order to have some time to create some new art. But thus far, it's become things like let's say now in World CryptoCon, we're going to be, because last year I made an art piece for them called Beyond Moon. So this time, with Codex Protocol and Bravo Coin, we've organized so that we can give out 5,000 digital NFTs of this art piece for all the conference attendees. So it's going to be a limited to conference attendees edition, and it closes on November 1st at noon. So we're going to put into the goodie bag this whole thing that you can download it if you want, and the same for the invisibility piece for the Litecoin Foundation. And then we're going to give out this big print also at World CryptoCon. So it's getting deeper into figuring out what kind of utilitarian things there are available in the crypto space for us to do cool things with it for art. But yeah, that's something that I would really like to get back to, is create some more art. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but what can you do?
Do you see these kinds of art tokenization use cases propagating beyond just the crypto market? I mean, have you seen examples of this outside of just this niche yet? And if not, when do you think that will take on, right? Because I mean, I think it's super cool. You guys are giving out these tokens at the conference. But have you seen any kind of cases of that being done? Or do you think that this is sort of still cutting edge?
I think it's very basic for the art world. I'm very disillusioned with that space altogether. I think when there's enough money that circulates, they will be coming in, and some of them already have. And I don't think it's anything to do with the worldview or ideological reasons or the kinds of what crypto really stands for. As far as I kind of feel, the art world stands in direct opposition most of the time for any development in art. So I think the first reasons when there will be coming in are going to be very cold cut about money. And let's say because our intention for the Blood on the Podcast floor piece, the one with all the signatures, is to get over $1 million to be raised for this charity. I think those are the kinds of things that are going to eventually be pushing it towards the mainstream realm. And of course, what's really interesting for me is because I've been creating these pieces for over a decade now, and I have about 350 digital originals. And the art world didn't care about them at all because you can monetize them. And now with blockchain solutions, you can finally monetize them. And because you can track the provenance so much better, and you can authenticate them so much more efficiently, that I think eventually the evolution will be that the digital pieces are going to become more valuable than the physical art pieces. That sounds ridiculous and preposterous to many people now, but for the simple reasons of tracking and authenticating, because there's so much fakes that is going on in the art world, and everyone knows this. Just type in on YouTube like art world and fakes, and you'll get a bunch of documentaries on this kind of stuff. That if now digital content creators and artists get into this space, I think there's going to be a big evolution with this whole thing, and eventually, all of the institutions and people involved will be coming in when it becomes profitable for them. But right now, art is a niche and crypto is a niche, so crypto art is definitely a niche. But that's why it's good to be in this space now, because we get to create it.
I agree, absolutely. So if people want to check out your work in Vegas, or if they want to go online and connect with you, maybe commission you to do a piece, where can they connect?
Oh, it's my art site is artforcrypto.com. That's simple enough. And on Twitter and Instagram, it's art by Vesa. So that's VESA. And those are probably the easiest.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks.
Hey there, it's time for the show. The Tatiana Show, where you make friends and talk life and crypto. We gotta think and reflect and use lots of intellect with our hearts when we work together. I know that it can be so hard out there, looking all around and saying that life ain't fair. So that is why we will fight and stay up late at night, listening to the Tatiana Show. Thank you for listening to the Tatiana Show. Please follow us on Twitter at Queen Tatiana, or on Facebook and Instagram at Tatiana Moroz Music. More episodes can be found at thetatianashow.com, and make sure you leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends. What's the point of all this technology without a little love in our lives? Our hosts, Tatiana Moroz, Dr. Stephanie Murphy, and Lauren Kasovitz, have come together to bring you Proof of Love. Go to proofoflovecast.com. The Tatiana Show has been brought to you by CryptoMediaHub.com, a boutique marketing and PR agency for Bitcoin and beyond.